Hey everyone, and welcome again to Anua Tarot. Today we're going to be doing a reading asking Tarot and the Fairies, what kind of love are you attracting right now by your thoughts, by your behaviors, and what you're wishing for. Maybe you're wishing for a kind of love that your behaviors and your thoughts are not aligned with, and this is making you attract partners that are not what you wish for, and you want to know how to attract those partners that you wish for. So this is going to be today's reading. These are the piles. Pile number 1 has Sappho with love. Pile number 2 has Mirabai with devotion. And pile number 3 has Leslie Marmon Silko with community. These cards are from the Literary Witches Oracle, and all these women are women who are writers and who have written about the experience of being a woman in the world. So we have these 3 writers that you can choose from. I'm going to leave the cards there for a little bit. If you have enjoyed this video and have enjoyed my video so far, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and to comment which question would you like answered by the tarot in the future. This way I can answer the questions that you have and you help me with new ideas for the channel. If you like my videos, I'm leaving here some of my other videos so you can check them out too. Pile number 1, if you chose Sappho with love, this is going to be the shuffling part of your video. So what I'm going to be doing is asking 3 questions. The first one is what kind of love you are attracting. Okay, let's have another one. Okay, and another one. Oops, that's too many, but I'm going to pick this one because this is the one that I saw. Second, I'm going to be asking why you are attracting this kind of love. Okay. And third, I'm gonna be asking what you can do to attract the kind of love that you want. That's 2, and that's the third one. Okay. So remember that this is the shuffling part of the reading. So if you want to go straight to the reading, it's in the next section of this video. So go straight to it if you find this to be a little boring. This is going to be the shuffling part. This is it. Now I'm gonna ask your fairies for advice in how to attract the kind of love that you want or that you need maybe right now. Okay, we have 1 and we have 2 more, 3 more. Okay, that's perfect. And now I'm going to ask the Literary Witches Oracle, which you already saw, for some guidance too about first the kind of love that you're attracting. That's okay. And then the kind of love that you want. That's second. And how to get this love that you want. Okay. So this was your shuffling part, pile 1. I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1, if you chose Sappho, this is going to be your reading about what kind of love you are attracting and how to attract the kind of love that you want in your life. So let's see what Tarot says. I asked Tarot three questions. The first is the kind of love that you are attracting, and here we have the Tower. We have the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse, and we have the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse. So what I'm seeing here, pile number 1, is that you might be attracting a kind of love that maybe shatters your self-image constantly. Maybe you have attracted a partner that doesn't feel stable and doesn't feel safe for you, and maybe you feel like you're walking on eggshells with this person, because this Tower tells me you might be feeling afraid of this situation shattering to the ground anytime. And this 4 of Pentacles in the reverse shows that things have not been as stable and as committed as you would like them to. And with the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse, the 9 of Pentacles, you can see it here, it's a little literary, but it means having value on the inside, right? You have all these coins, that are inside of you. Please ignore that. That's the avocado selling guy. He will be screaming for the rest of the reading, so I expect that you don't hear him as loud as I hear him. So what these cards are telling me is that you might have been attracting partners that are making you doubt your self-esteem and are making you doubt yourself, because you feel like you cannot trust them enough to maybe have a committed thing. I want to see why you are attracting this kind of person. Okay, we have the Fool here, we have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Hermit. Okay, so I think this might be talking about the kind of people that you have been attracted to for a while. Maybe you are into those type of people who are mysterious and very free and a free spirit, like this type of person that was in Disney Channel shows that was like the bad guy, and then he falls in love with the girl and he becomes romantic all of a sudden, and you discover how profound he is really. And I think what you're doing is putting very high expectations in these people. You have the Ten of Cups here, and the Ten of Cups is the card of fulfillment in emotions and fulfillment in love. This card can talk about marriage, a family, and I think what you're doing is placing this expectation in people who are either dismissive or avoidant, and who really like to go by themselves in the world. The Fool is someone who he really doesn't want any string attached to him. So I think what's happening is you are attracted to this kind of people. Of course, they are very attractive. They have been put as attractive by the media. Of course, we find them attractive. But you are trying to place these expectations of a fulfilling and complete life into them. But perhaps this feels very unsafe because they cannot offer you that sense of commitment and of trust that you need. Maybe you have been stuck in a friends with benefits situation. Maybe you have been stuck with someone who really doesn't want to commit. He calls one day, or she calls one day, they call one day, and then they don't call. They ignore you for days, and then they come back, and you're really stuck in maybe hoping that this person someday will get to this fulfillment. Pile number 1. So now I want to see what advice does the tarot give you for having this type of love that you're really wishing for. So first we have the Queen of Pentacles. I love her. We have the Moon, and we have the Knight of Pentacles. So what I'm seeing here is maybe these two are you and the partner that is gonna fulfill you. The Queen of Pentacles, of course, might be you. This is a queen that is so independent, and she's so successful both in her private life, like with her family, with her friends, with her loved ones, and also in her professional arena. So maybe what's happening is that you're trying to make these guys or these people value you in a way that you are not valuing yourself. Maybe you're trying to look for external validation, and what this queen is saying is you are so valuable and you're so successful in your life that you have to remind yourself that you are. The reason you might be attracting these kinds of people is that they are a challenge, and they reinforce that feeling that you are unlovable, that you might have, and that's why you want to change them, because if you can change them, that means you were wrong about being unlovable. But they reinforce that. They are familiar because they reinforce that. So the first thing you're going to do is recognize that this value that you have inside yourself is very, very big, and you are so successful. This Queen of Pentacles shows me you're very successful. You're successful with your friends, you're successful with your job or with your university, and this doesn't mean having the highest salary or having the biggest followers in your account. What this means is that you are in the right path for what you are wishing for. And this person who will fulfill that dream you have of having that love is someone, he might not be or she might not be as popular or as maybe free and mysterious, but this is a person who plans The Knight of Pentacles shows me someone who he's here in this cliff and he's not running. You see this horse has stopped because he's planning on what path to take, and he has his goals in his mind. So I know these people who are mysterious and really bad guys are really attractive, but maybe you need to start looking at these more responsible and planning through guys. And what I see in the middle of them too is fear. The moon here shows me fear. I think you are afraid also of having something committed, even though that's what you wish for. That's why you might be attracting people who are not ready for commitment, because you are also afraid of commitment. And this doesn't mean that you do not wish for it, or that you wish for a friends with benefits thing, or that you wish for something casual, because the Ten of Cups here tells me this is not what you want. But I think you are afraid of being vulnerable and of being open, and that's why you are attracting these guys that are never gonna be vulnerable with you. Maybe you're gonna be intimate with them physically, but not emotionally. And I think this fear is what you have to look at. Maybe write it down, talk to your fear like it was a friend, like, hi fear, why you're here. I want to know why you're here, and I want to help you become smaller and just carry you because I know you're protecting me, but I want to know why you're here. And now we have our fairies that are gonna be telling us some advice. We have the Fairy of Clarity. Of course she's here. She's saying you have to protect your principles and always express what you're feeling and thinking. I think this fairy is here because you might be stuck in a situation where you need more, or where you want more from your partner, but you're afraid to say it because you know they're not ready for that kind of commitment. But I think what you're doing is not being clear, and you're being this is being unfulfilling for you, right? I feel this friends with benefit situation, or these situationships you're being in, they're not clear for you. So I think you have to be clear from now on. This doesn't mean in the first day you're gonna be like, yeah, I want to marry, I want to have children. Are you up for it? Because you have to first meet the person, and then know if this person is someone you like, and then years later you can think about marrying them. But just be clear in what you do not want. Have clear boundaries, like, I don't want to be in a friends with benefits thing, I don't want to be in a situationship, I don't want to be months from now asking you what we are, what we're not. Just be clear. You don't have to say it to the person, just be clear to yourself. We have the Fairy of Union. This is a beautiful card. This shows a couple. So she's saying you're not two, you're not one, you're two now. You have to celebrate with plenitude the happiness of your union. So this is positive, because I think if you're looking for a partner that is going to be long term and it's going to be committed, you're going to find it. But you have to be clear with your boundaries first, and with yourself, right? Just ask yourself, what do I want? Do I want a friends with benefit things? Maybe you do. I don't think you do because of what the cards have said. But if you don't want it, then if a person is inviting you to, just say, no, thank you, I'm not interested. You're very kind and very nice and very handsome, but that's not what I want right now. You have the Fairy of Trust, and she's saying that good energy attracts everything that you desire, and that you have to transform your thoughts by declaring positive things. I think you might be doubting yourself a lot, and that is why you're having trouble finding a partner that really values you and loves you, because you are attracting partners that don't think that. But by saying that to yourself, you're putting it out to the universe, like, I am not worthy of love, I am not worthy of commitment, I am not worthy of intimacy. And I know it's hard to talk to yourself in kinder ways, because we have been wired to be really judgmental of ourselves. But maybe start by looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I trust myself enough to find a loving and caring partner. I trust myself enough to find an intimate relationship where I will be very happy. I trust myself enough to do the best job I can, because you are your biggest friend and ally. You have been making yourself safe for all your life. You have been making yourself happy for all your life, and that is proof that you are enough and that you have a lot of value. But you have to trust yourself that you can make yourself happy. And finally, we have the Fairy of Rest. Make rest a need. Make time of this time for strengthening again. So I think this might be saying maybe drop those F-boys. I don't know if I can say the word in YouTube. I don't think so. But maybe you have been stuck with some people who just really objectify you, and they limit your contact to them for what they want. Like, they see you once a week and you have intimacy, and then they don't call you, and then they leave you in this state of not knowing. That is very, very tiring. So I think the fairy is saying, just rest, just look at yourself in the mirror and trust yourself, and this beautiful person that is gonna love you and value you is gonna come. But this person is not gonna be an F-boy. This person, if a person is not willing to commit and not willing to have the type of relationship that you want, it's better just to rest from them. Maybe going no contact, or maybe limiting the contact that you provide first, and see if this person keeps contacting you if you don't contact them. And I know this is hard, but I think this is what the fairies are advising. And now I'm gonna see with the Literary Witches Oracle that you are very so, the kind of love you are attracting, the kind of love you want, and how to get the kind of love you want. So in the kind of love you are attracting, we have the noose. Wow, I know that's very graphic, I'm sorry. But I feel you're trapped in something that you're not happy with, right? Maybe your hope and your expectations are keeping you trapped somewhere that is not going where you want it to go. And this might be that situation with these people who are not as committed as you would like them to be. What kind of love you want? You have milk here. I find the milk to be about nurturing, right? When animals are born and when babies are born, the first thing that they receive is love and milk. So milk here is nurturing, right? It is a symbol of having something that fulfills you, that keeps you safe, and that you can trust the person giving it to you. And what can you do to get to this nurturing love? We have the eye. So this is all about perspective. Maybe you have to change the way you see things and the way you see yourself. I think you're being too hard on yourself and telling yourself you're not lovable because you are afraid of being hurt. And maybe this is what you have been told your whole life, right? You are unlovable, you need to change to be loved, and you don't. You're just perfect the way you are, and you're gonna find love. But stop putting into the universe that you want, because you will. But maybe these thoughts, these scary thoughts and these anxious thoughts are what's being translated into the kind of partners that you're attracted to, right? You are attracted to partners that are going to echo these thoughts you have about yourself. So if you say, I'm unlovable, and then you see someone saying with their actions, you are unlovable, and that's why I'm going to keep you here in a confusing situation, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is so hot. But if you change that, if you say, I am very worthy of love, and you see a partner saying you are not worthy of love, you're gonna say, okay, we have a disagreement, bye. You have the book, and you have the rabbit. So with the book and the rabbit, I'm seeing the rabbit for me is about taking leaps, right? Because rabbits make small jumps. And these jumps, I think, are gonna be small steps in thinking higher of yourself and finding partners that think higher of yourself. And the book is about writing your own story. So I think you have been stuck in a feeling that maybe the universe hates you, or maybe the universe is not giving you partners that are gonna love you. But I think what's happening is you're choosing the wrong characters for the story that you want, right? You want a story with a happy ending, and with an ending where you have a beautiful and loving and committed relationship, but you're choosing characters that are not willing to give you that. And that's not because of you or because you don't deserve that, because those characters are wired differently, right? It's like if you chose a character, and at the end of the book, the character is gonna, I don't know, save all the animals in the planet, and the character is a butcher or a hunter, right? Maybe they have a change of mind, and this is what happens in the hero's journey, etc. But being realistic, it would be better to pick a partner, a character for this book that is a vegetarian, or that is that loves animals and wants to save them, right? It would be really easier, and the book would be much shorter, don't you think? So I think maybe it starts by two things: by you trusting yourself and making these small steps into thinking higher of yourself, and into recognizing that everyone is deserving of love, but especially you. And that if you're going to write a book, you have to choose the right characters. You can't choose people who are not wanting to do something and then expecting them to do it, because that's only gonna stall this book, and this is gonna be a long book. But if you pick this guy or this girl who really wants the same things as you want, who is really down to earth, who's really going to love and value you, then this book will be much shorter, and the happy part of the book is gonna be much longer. So pile number 1, this was your reading. I hope you liked it. At the beginning of this video I left some other of my videos, so if you like this one you might want to check those, and I hope to see you in a new reading again. Adios. Pile number 2, if you chose Mirabai with devotion, this is going to be the shuffling part of your reading. If you want to go straight to your reading, please go to the next section of this video, that's where it is. And here I'm gonna shuffle your tarot and oracle cards. So I'm gonna ask tarot 3 things. First, what kind of love is pile 2 attracting? Oh, we have the lovers there. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask the tarot why you are attracting this kind of love. Oh. Okay. And I'm gonna ask the cards what you can do or what advice they give you to find the kind of love that you're wishing for. Okay. Now, I chose 3 cards for each of these, and I'm not gonna see the ones that are turned upside down because I think Tarot wants them to be a surprise for me. Now I'm gonna ask the fairies for some advice on how to attract the kind of love that you're wishing for. Let's see what they say. So pile number 2, we have the fairy of love right there. Okay, maybe these 2, I'm gonna take them because I think those are meant for me. They have been appearing in my own readings for a while, so I think the fairies are just reminding me, hey, you also have to read your thing. And now I'm gonna pick 3 from the Literary Witches Oracle, which you already saw. And these cards show me women who are writers, and also objects or animals that are in their books and their novels and their poems. And so this first was the kind of love you're attracting. The second is the kind of love that you want. Okay. And the third is how to get to the kind of love that you want. Let's see. Another one, please. That's it. Okay, so this was the shuffling part of your reading, pile number 2, and I will see you in your reading. Pile number 2, if you chose Mirabai with devotion, this is going to be your reading. So I asked Tarot 3 questions. The first question was what kind of love you are attracting. We have the Tower. Pile number 1 also had the Tower as the first card. We have the Lovers, and we have the 4 of Cups in the reverse. So let's look at the other cards so maybe they can clarify this. I asked the Tarot why you are attracting this kind of love, and we have the Knight of Cups, the King of Pentacles in the reverse, okay, and the King of Swords in the reverse. So what I'm seeing here, pile number 2, is that you might have been attracted partners that were really loving and caring, or relationships in which the first part of the relationship was really intense with the Lovers here and with the Tower here. So these relationships are very intense at first. You have a very strong honeymoon period, and then they might start losing that passion over time, because we have the 4 of Cups in the reverse here. So you might be wondering why you are attracting relationships that burn out so fast. And we have 3 royals here in the reverse. I think that these relationships, they might start really strong. They might start with a little bit of love bombing, this person telling you that they love you very fast, and having a lot of intimacy and having a lot of affection, and then they start burning out, and then the flame, it goes out, right? And maybe you're wondering why can't these relationships last? And you have 3 cards here. The first one is the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So the Knight of Cups, it shows like the knights can be either running or stopping. The Knight of Cups is one of the knights that has stopped. And look at how big this horse is, and look at how tiny the cup containing it. So this card is talking about having the reins of your emotions and not letting your emotions go loose, right? If you have a very big horse, you have to not control it or not try to put it inside a little cup, but just ride it slowly and enjoy the ride and enjoy all these butterflies around it. But since it's in the reverse, it tells me 2 things. Maybe you're trying to control what you're feeling too tightly. The reins are too tight. And you are pretending that you do not care for this person, you do not love this person, because you feel if you show emotion too quickly, they will run away. Or, on the other hand, maybe the reins are too loose. So you lose yourself in these feelings of infatuation and this big crush, and it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful to be in love, and it's beautiful to love someone and to be attracted to someone, but maybe the reins are too loose, and maybe you're losing sight of yourself and of who you are, right? Because if this horse is just running wherever it wants, then what happens with other things that are making you love life, right? What happens to your friends? What happens to your family? What happens to your job, to your hobbies? So I think maybe those are opposite options, but you might know better than I do what applies to you. But maybe the reins are too tight, or maybe the reins are too loose with your feelings. You have the King of Pentacles in the reverse, and this King of Pentacles, this guy is a hoarder. He really wants to collect and collect and collect, and when he's operating, that's okay. He's just a businessman. He just wants to have more and more. But the King of Pentacles in the reverse is saying maybe you want too much too soon, right? Or maybe the relationships that you're into right now, like the relationships you're attracting, maybe they demand too much from you very soon, and this is where you start losing yourself, right? You start losing yourself, and they become tiring, they become really demanding, and they become really tiring. And the King of Swords, this guy is very blunt and very clear with his words. Sometimes his words might hurt, and they might hurt him, but when he's in the reverse, maybe he has a blockage in speaking his mind. And I think this might be because sometimes being blunt to yourself is going to avoid this, right? If you just start reflecting and saying, oh my god, is this what I really want? Is this a person I really want to be with? Then this infatuation and these feelings of really, it's like being high, right? These feelings, they will start to go out, and that's not what you want, right? Because you want this emotion and this passion, and you're not being blunt to yourself. So you're attracting relationships that fade really quickly. If you have a car and you push the pedal to the max, the gas is gonna run out very quickly. But if you take it in a steady pace, the gas is gonna last longer. So I think, let's see what advice the tarot has to give us about how to have the kind of love that you want. So we have the Knave of Wands here, the Page of Wands. We have the Two of Wands in the reverse. Oh, I think these are upside down, because I remember that this was the other way around, so these were upside down. Okay, so I'm sorry, we have a car alarm, so I'm gonna pause and then keep going when it stops. It was the longest car alarm I have ever heard in my life, but okay, let's go back to it. So what the Two of Wands tells me here is, if you want to get out of this really fast but fast dying connections, you might want to have someone who is a friend or an ally, right? Maybe this talks about the kind of partners that you're gonna start looking for, who might be closer feeling to a friend or a companion, and that where loving feelings will slowly start to begin rising, and not just at the beginning everything. So finding a partner who feels safe and who you like, right? Because sometimes you like the character that the person is playing. They are playing the lover character, but you want someone who you like. You like them as a person, and you wouldn't mind spending time around, and it's a plus that they are your partner. This might be one way to see it, and the other way to see it is telling your friends, please keep me accountable when I'm doing this, when I'm just pouring myself into a relationship really fast, because it's burning me out. So either one of those, either find a friend, find a companion in a friend. They don't have to be a friend right now, right? It's just someone you meet and you say, this person is so nice and so cool, and they have interests that interest me too. Maybe they're not my hobbies, but I want to learn about them. Maybe their music taste is not the same as mine, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to learn from this person and start loving them and developing loving feelings in a steady pace, like the horse, right? Not reined in, not parked in the stable, but going steady, because this is going to last longer, and it's going to be a lot safer for you. Or telling a friend, I am known for doing this, for pouring myself very fast into a relationship, thinking someone I just met is the love of my life, maybe a few months in, and I want you to keep me accountable when you see me doing it. We have the Knave of Wands, and she is going into a cave where she doesn't know anyone or anything. I don't know, this might be monsters, this might be the wall, the interior of the wall, but she's being very brave, right? But this is in the reverse. So this saying, in love you do not have to be brave. You don't have to go headfirst into everything that feels pleasant. So what this might be saying is, maybe take some time to think about if you like the person you're with, if you think they might make a good partner, if they fulfill you, but not so fast, right? The thing here is that I think you're attracting things that are going too fast, and you might judge yourself for it, but it's okay, it's fine. Love is a beautiful thing, and we all want love. So when we have a very loving situation, it's very tempting to just dive in head first. But the Knave of Wands here is saying, maybe take it slower, meet someone and you really like this person, but just take the time to really get to know them before you start diving head first, thinking about moving with them, thinking about introducing them to all your friends and your family, and start isolating yourself for being with them. And maybe you're thinking about, I don't know, traveling together and these sort of things. Maybe take it slower and get to know this person before you get in a very committed thing that then it's harder to get out from if you're very invested, right? So take it slow, have a partner to help you take it slow, and be patient, right? This is not gonna be like you hear this reading and then the next person you meet you're gonna be all sent and taking it very slow. No, just be mindful that maybe this is what's happening, right? You're being too invested in those very fast going relationships, and this is making them burn out very fast. And we have the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, and this card shows me getting out of a scarcity mindset, right? Here we have the Five of Pentacles, and this is a very sad person. Their house was on fire, like they lost so much, but since it's in the reverse, this is good news, right? This is, you are getting out of a scarcity mindset. Maybe the reason you're diving too fast into a relationship is because you think you need a relationship to be happy or to be fulfilled. And that's why whenever you find someone who might be a potential partner for you, you just dive headfirst because you feel this is what I need to be happy. But just get out of that scarcity mindset. You are gonna be happy whether you have a relationship or not. You're gonna be happy because you are the source of your own happiness. You have been with yourself since you were born, and look at how many times you have been happy in your life. And this is not depending only on if you have a partner or not. You have the potential of being happy inside of you. So maybe trying to get out of this scarcity mindset is what's going to help, right? Like, oh no, I don't have a relationship, my life sucks. No, it doesn't. I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of family, my work is going good, my university is going good, I'm doing great. And if a partner comes, they will be a company for me. They will be company for this beautiful life that I'm building outside of a relationship. So let's see what the fairies have to advise. We have two fairies, and we have the fairy of love. And she is being very obvious right here. She's saying the reason of your concern is related to your relationship, but something is about to shift. She's saying something is about to shift, so I think maybe your mind is shifting. And the fairy of goodbye is saying to leave behind every harmful situation because new things are coming. So pile number 2, this is beautiful. I think the fairies are saying you are going to drop this mindset so hard that so many beautiful things are coming your way. I know it's hard because love is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And when we see love, we just want to be close to it. We want the love in our lives. But the fairies are saying you're going to drop this mindset, you're going to drop this scarcity mindset, and you're gonna experiment love in the most beautiful and calming way that you have ever experienced it. Because it seems to me that love is a very demanding feeling for you, right? When you love someone, this is very intense and like romantic, like, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I have so much noise around my house right now. I'm going to pause again and keep going when the truck passes. I'm sorry, this is what living in Latin America is like. You have the truck that comes picking up, I don't know what they picking up, but I'm sorry. Let's go back to it. So you're leaving behind this this urgency in love, and you're going to feel it so very calmly and beautifully. I think this is very beautiful. And now we have the Literary Witches Oracle, and I asked this oracle for 3 things. First, they're going to show us how love, what kind of love you're attracting right now. And we have elixir here. So yeah, the first word that came to mind when I saw that was intoxicating. Love is intoxicating for you. You have relationships that have been very passionate and very high, like you have been in these relationships and you were consumed by them because they were just intoxicating and addictive. But you know, the effects of an elixir pass sometime, right? They don't last for long. We have 2 cards for the kind of love that you want. We have the wildflowers, this is beautiful, and we have mushrooms. So I think mushrooms speak to me like, I don't know if you know how mushrooms work, but these are all part of the same mycelium. The mycelium is a root that is under here, and it's a whole living organism of roots that they all belong in. So I feel what the mushrooms are saying is you want a love where you belong. You want belonging, and you want, maybe you want a family. See, right? This is the parents and the babies. I don't know, this might not resonate for everyone, but you want maybe something more similar to a community or somewhere where you belong. And the wildflowers just make me think of picking wildflowers and gifting them to your lover, and maybe sitting down in a meadow to read poetry to your lover. I don't know, something very romantic, but something very calm, right? This is not like this fire burning passion or this intoxicating thing, but something more calm. You just want to belong somewhere, and you just want to have romantic gestures to your partner. But let's see what the cards recommend for getting here, right? To getting to this community and getting to this romantic thing. And you have the hedgehog. So what I think first about the hedgehog is the hedgehog has his spikes that protect him from the outside world. And I think this doesn't mean that you have to grow a very thick layer protecting you of the outside world, but maybe just take things a little slower in how vulnerable you are at first with someone, because when you're vulnerable, you're trusting this person a lot, right? You're trusting this person to give you so much, and when they don't, this might be very disappointing and very sad and heartbreaking, right? So the hedgehog is saying, just remember him. He's small and he's vulnerable, but he has his boundaries very clear, and he thinks twice before opening them, not because he doesn't trust other people, but because he wants what's better for him. He wants what's safer for him. So pile number 2, I think this is very possible, right? To get to this community and to this belonging and be with someone who's very romantic. But I think you have to start understanding that it is not urgent for you to have a partner, and that getting to know the person you're starting to date, or getting to know the person you're starting to talk to, is very important before developing these feelings of passion. And that might not be love at first. That might be just infatuation, or just just very intoxicating feelings, and this is what's making them burn out so fast. So pile number 2, I hope you liked your reading, and if you did, I left some other of my videos at the beginning of this video, so you might check some of them out. Maybe think about subscribing, since this helps my channel grow, and I hope to see you again in a new reading. Bye. Pile number 3, if you chose Leslie, Marmon, Silko, and Community, this is going to be the shuffling part of your reading. If you want to go straight to your reading, it's in the next part of this video. So I asked Tarot for 3 questions. The first is the kind of love that you're attracting. Wait, that card really flew to the other side of the desk. I wonder what it is. And another one, please. Okay, that also flew. So now I'm gonna ask my cards why you are attracting this kind of love. Okay. No, they didn't want. They just wanted me to see them, and then oh, this did turn itself around. Okay, and let's see how you can get advice on how you can get the love that you want. Okay, that one flew. Did you see that? I don't know if you were able to see it, or if it went outside of. Okay, so the cards that are showing upside down, I like to keep them upside down because I feel like the deck is trying to surprise me. And so okay, I'm gonna pick them up without seeing them, and now I'm gonna ask the fairies for some advice. And this is a Colombian oracle deck that has a fairy in each card, so it's in Spanish, but I'm gonna be translating, so don't worry. So I'm gonna ask the fairies for some advice on how to get the kind of love that you wish for and that you desire. Okay, let's have another one, please. Maybe turning this around will help. Okay. And now I'm going to ask my literary witch's oracle, which is the one you picked from, for first the kind of love you're attracting, now the kind of love that you desire, that's cool, and how you can get to this love that you desire. So okay, we have a lot. So pile number 3, this was the shuffling part of your reading, and I will see you in your reading next. Pile number 3, if you chose Leslie, Marmon, Silko, and Community, this is going to be your reading. So I asked Tarot 3 questions. The first is the kind of love that you are attracting right now. We have the 2 of Wands in reverse, we have the 5 of Swords, and we have the 6 of Pentacles. So this is telling me, pile number 3, that maybe you have been attracting some conflict in your relationships. It seems to me here with the 2 of Wands in reverse that maybe there has been miscommunication in your relationships up until now. These 2 are like twins, they work together to get to the same objective, but since it's in the reverse, I think This might be a situation in which there's a lot of conflict and miscommunication, but there's a lot of generosity in it, right? Maybe you are giving so much of you. You're not only in economic terms, like you're paying for dinners or gifts, but you're also giving so much from yourself, and maybe the other person is doing it too, but maybe this is a source of conflict within that situation or situations that you had in the past. Maybe this is a common ground for relationships you had in the past. The Five of Swords speaks to me about conflict, and especially verbal conflict. So like fighting, arguing, maybe bad mouthing the other person, gossiping about the other person. And I want to ask the cards why you were attracting these kinds of things. So we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Three of Swords in the reverse, and we have the Emperor in the reverse. So what I'm seeing here, pile number 3, is that there are some unresolved things in your heart. The Three of Swords tells me about heartbreak and about sadness, and I think what is happening is that this unresolved thing in your heart is making you believe things about yourself that just aren't true. Maybe that you deserve conflict in your life. Maybe this is what the situation was like when you were a child. You had a conflictive environment. And this Emperor in the reverse, the Emperor is a very controlling card. So maybe you had someone in your life in the past who was very controlling, and you are just trying to get rid of that controlling energy. So maybe you're feeling very hurt, and when somebody tries to control you, you lash out, right? You go into survival mode and into fight mode because you are very scared of this controlling that has been happening in your life. But maybe this conflict is so familiar to you because maybe this is what you grew up with, that it's what you feel comfortable in, right? We always feel comfortable in what we're familiar with, and going out of these harmful cycles is very hard. But it seems to me that you have here a seed planted in changing the situation, and maybe changing, I don't know if this is generational trauma or maybe something that has to do with how you were raised, but I think you want to change this because you have the seed of action that is the Ace of Wands. So now I'm going to ask the cards for advice about how you can find the love that you want and not this conflictive love that you have been having in the past. And we have here the Knight of Wands, we have the Tower, and we have Temperance. So pile number 3, I feel what the cards are saying is you want things to be very quick, right? You want this hurt in your heart to be fixed very quickly. And what I think is that this is making you bring things that are similar to that conflict because you feel like in your arena, right? You have survived maybe some verbal aggression before, so you have learned to normalize it. But I think the cards are saying there's more to see and there's more to experiment in life than conflict, right? The Knight of Wands talks about action, and I think what this card is saying is you have to be mindful and active in getting out of this cycle, because this cycle is hurting you, and this is a cycle of a lot of conflict and a lot of violence that is not letting you thrive in love, right? We have the Tower here, and the tower doesn't only mean like something bad happening or something catastrophic, but a big change. Imagine you live here in the top of the tower, and this tower is the lies that were told to you, that conflict is normal, that conflict is a part of life and a part of love, and you are just knocking over that tower and saying, this is not something that I'm allowing into my life anymore. Conflict and violence and aggression are not things that I'm allowing into my life anymore. But this is what you grew up with, right? This is why you're here at the top of the tower, believing that conflict and fighting and arguing are normal parts of our relationship. but you can knock over that tower if that's not what you want. I don't think that's what you want, right? I don't think so. And we also have Temperance, which is the card of balance. But this card also talks about having your emotions in check. I know anger is a very difficult thing to control. When we are angry, we have a hard time controlling what we say or do. But I think you have to balance your anger, because I think you grew in an environment where anger was the only way to solve conflict, right? When you had conflict, perhaps when your parents had conflict or something in your environment had conflict, anger was the way, anger was the emotion. And I think what this card is saying is anger is important, but compassion and being soft are also important. So anger is not the only way to solve conflict, and conflict will always exist, because conflict is just disagreeing, and since we are all different human beings, we will always disagree. But lashing out and being angry is not the only way of solving conflict, and many times it doesn't even solve the conflict, it just makes it worse, because you are talking about something that bothered you or something that you would like to change, but the way in which you are portraying the message might be making the other person feel attacked, and they might react in a lascive way, right? So I think this card is saying your anger is so valid and so important, but so is your compassion and your softness. So let me see what the fairies have to say for advice. And we have the fairy of patience, and she's saying that patience is not positive waiting, but accepting the process that is necessary to achieve your dreams and goals, and that what you want will come. I think this fairy of patience is talking about being patient with yourself, because you are trying to break out of an old cycle of solving conflict in an angry way, right? Maybe this is what happened in your family, maybe this is what you're familiar with, and the fairies are saying you might not get out of the cycle from night to morning, because this is something from a lifetime, right? You have been experiencing this for a lifetime, and it seems to me you have had relationships where miscommunication was a thing, and in which miscommunication was solved with generosity. Bringing love with this mindset, you will still have conflict and you'll still have these difficult situations. And we have the fairy of ethics, and she's saying that your values define who you are. So maybe you grew in a place where anger was a value, right? Where not letting people go through you or pass over you was a value. And maybe you're seeing that this is not a value that you want to carry in your life, right? Being angry is very important, because anger is what fights against injustice. But being angry is not the only way to solve a conflict. If this is a small conflict, maybe a value of compassion and patience will do more for communicating than a value of anger and of I'm not letting anyone tell me nothing, this is the way I am. That's what we hear many times from our families, and maybe this is not something you want. Maybe you really want patience to be your value, and you're learning that, right? You're learning to be patient towards your partners, and you want also a partner who is patient to you, right? That you can make a mistake and they are not gonna lash out at you, but tell you, wow, that was hurtful, but I love you and I'm compassionate, and how are we gonna fix this in a loving and patient way? And this doesn't mean tolerating no one's things and someone's disrespect, but recognizing that we are all human, and that sometimes we're gonna get mad at each other, but we don't have to lash out and fight and argue, right? I think you're making patience into a value in your life, and that's beautiful, but that means you have to be patient with yourself as well. So I asked the Literary Witches Oracle about the kind of love you're attracting, the kind of love you want, and how to get to that kind of love. So we have the Creature's Paw. This gives me, I don't know how this makes you feel, but this feels a little hurtful for me, right? This creature has very long claws, and I think maybe your relationships up until now were you going teeth first, right? And the other person going teeth first. Being in a survival mode in which you learn to fight. And this is very hard when you want to be vulnerable and when you want to build something with someone, right? Because if the other person makes a mistake and you scratch them or you bite them, how is that going to help you build with them? I think this is something that you were taught in your maybe your childhood or when you were younger, that you could build a relationship with your teeth first. And I don't think this is what you want, right? I don't think this is what you want. I think what you want is fate and the lion. Okay, so see the difference between the paw and the lion, right? This is still a strong creature. The lion is very strong, and the lion, no one messes with the lion, right? Because the lion could just tear you into pieces if you cross their path wrongly. But look at his face. He's content. But the creature is just trying to grab you in this menacing way. So I think you still want a love in which you feel strong and in which you feel respected and in which you feel you are making others respect you. But look at this lion. He doesn't have to show his teeth or his claws for you to respect him, because you know how strong he is. And I think this is the love you want, right? And with fate, I think you want something easy. I don't think you just have to sit and wait for someone to show when that's what you want. I think you want something that is easygoing and that feels like it goes with the flow. I think maybe you have had conflict in your past relationships, and this is making you say, I am so tired of fighting and of forcing the other people to think similarly to me. And I think what you want is something that is just easy, someone who's just easy to talk to, easy to have conflict with, right? Like, you don't have to think alike in every single way. You can just have differences and have conflict, but you want something easygoing and somewhere where the person respects how strong you are. And you don't have to show your teeth or claws in this. You're still being strong. You're not letting anyone take away your strength, because this is a value that you were raised with, being strong and making yourself heard with the loud roar of the lion. But I think you want someone who respects the lion enough not to be messing with it to show their teeth or their claws, right? You want to be a patient lion. You want to be a calm lion, a happy lion. This is a happy lion, see? And I think that's just what you want. So I want to ask these cards what you could do to attract this kind of love in which you are the happy lion. And we have the eel and we have the skull. So I think two things about the eel. The eel is swimming, right? We were talking about flow, and I think the eel is flowing very calmly, but the eel has a protective measure, that is their sting, like the electricity they emit. And I think what this card is saying is, yes, you have been taught to respect your boundaries, and that's a very important thing. But if the eel just electrocutes everything that comes near its path, it's not gonna have a loving connection, right? So I think this eel is telling you to choose your battles and to maybe try telling yourself that not every conflict has to be solved with teeth and claws and electricity, right? Many things can be solved with compassionate conversation. And for this, the eel needs a partner or friends or family that will not attack it. They have to feel trust in being able to swim next to someone else and feel safe while doing it, right? So I think you want to get out of a cycle of aggression, and I think for that, I'm not being able to pick up the card. That's it. And here we have the skull. So the skull for me is all about knowledge. This reminds me of like medical school or a very old library where they have like a Shakespearean kind of thing. And this for me is knowledge, and I think you will find so much information and tools from resources that are going to help you manage these very hard emotions that you can be having, right? Like, you were told from the beginning that anger was very important and that anger was the only way to solve conflicts. Maybe you didn't have any calm conversations when you did something wrong with maybe your caregivers or your ex-partners, and that's the only way you know, right? The only way you know is if someone does something bad, anger is the only way. And I think you're gonna be looking for so many resources of healthy problem solving and conflict resolution that you're gonna start being this patient person and this ethic person, and you're gonna start changing the values in your life. So pile number 3, I think this is beautiful. I think you are really breaking outside of these patterns of aggression that you were maybe raised into. And if you like this video, I left some other of my videos in the beginning of this video, and I hope I see you again in another reading. Bye.